Okay, we're going to pick it up now in part 2. And as you may recall, we were at the high school, and obviously just before graduation, they are allowing a hypnotist to bring about the powers that he knows upon all these students. And he's now got them in a very, very deep state of hypnosis or sleep or alpha waves in the brain. But there's a factor that needs to be brought into this. It's not just psychological. He's tapping into the source of the hoax-lie system. And that source is none other than the devil himself and his demonic powers. Now there's a demonic power by the name of Hypnos, who is the god of sleep. So he represents Hypnos. He's Hypnos' ambassador. And Hypnos is giving him permission to use his powers, Hypnos' powers. And yes, they are powers. They are invisible powers. And it looks like all the students have come under the spell of the god of Hypnos. So let's pick it up right there.
If you're feeling comfortable, you're going to relax in the audience. If you're feeling at ease, I'm going to count numbers 3 down to 1. When you reach that number 1, I'm going to say the word sleep. When I say that word sleep, it's going to feel as if I just touch you on the shoulder. So I'm going to count the numbers 3 down to 1. When I reach that number 1, I'm going to say the word sleep. When I say the word sleep, it's going to feel as if I just touch you on the shoulder. And you're going to fall 10 times deeper into a state of hypnosis. But then you're in right now. If you agree to that, landing on your head, yes, for me. Perfect. In 3, 2, 1, sleep. 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 Calm, comfortable, and at ease. Again, from this point on, no matter what you're doing, no matter what's going on around you, anytime that I look at you and I say the phrase sleep, your eyes will shut tight, your head will fall to the side, your body will go as smooth as a limp as a ragdoll, and you'll fall 10 times deeper into a state of hypnosis and right now.
Okay, anytime he invokes the god, he invokes the false god, which is Hypnos, sleep. Anytime he uses the name of the god, Hypnos, which is sleep. Okay? That's the Greek name. So he's using the powers of the false god Hypnos upon anyone who is going to be receptive.
If you agree to that, you lightly nod your head yes for me. Perfect. Every time I say just go deeper and deeper. Sleep, sleep, sleep. All the way down. In a moment, I'm going to count 3 down to 1. When I reach that number 1, you're going to separate your chairs. You're going to be keeping your eyelids shut. You're going to be keeping your eyelids shut. You're going to begin to feel and react to whatever sensation I describe. Again, when I reach that number 1, you're going to separate your chairs. You're going to be keeping your eyelids shut. You're going to be keeping your eyelids shut. You're going to begin to feel and react to whatever sensation I describe. In 3, 2, 1. Sitting upright. Eyelids are shut. Sitting upright. Eyelids are shut. Okay, maybe.
Okay, now when you have a night of sleep, your eyelids are shut and you're moving around. I think I read somewhere that when a person's asleep, they'll actually move around maybe 350 times. Now, you're probably not aware of that. And some people don't hardly move at all, and other people's move more than 350 times. But you've heard of people that are sleepwalkers, that'll actually get up in their sleep and start doing things, like getting ready for work, and you're supposed to be at work at 9 a.m., but it's 4 in the morning. And you think you're ready to go to work, but people do, quote, sleepwalk, and that's in the natural realm, and it's not hypnosis. So these folks here are going to be, in a sense, sleepwalking under the power of the hypnotist, who's really like the ambassador of the false god Hypnosis, which is a demonic entity with power.
In the back of the room or near the wall, did somebody just bump into the thermostat? Maybe somebody just hit it with their shoulder or their elbow. Somebody just turned the temperature down to about 65 degrees. Guys, if you don't mind, that's a little chilly. It's actually getting really cold, guys. If you don't mind, can we start bringing that temperature back up? Oh wait, no, it's getting colder. And colder, colder, and colder. It just went down to 65, 60. It's getting colder. And colder. I want you to start rubbing your hands together. Start rubbing your hands together. Try to build up some body warmth as you rub your hands together. Try to build up that body warmth as best you can.
Okay, now, because this has been in the news, so-called news, for quite some time, it's just what has happened to the population around you. Okay? Notice he says, now rub your hands, okay? Everything the hypnotist says to do, they do. And that's kind of the way society is right now. Everything the hypnotist is saying to do, people do. Because they're under a power.
And rub them together as hard as you can. 55, 50, it's getting colder. And colder, colder, and colder, colder, and colder. Oh, take your hands, rub.
Okay, I might interject and say, there's a deadly virus in the air. You've got to get a mask. You've got to wash your hands at least a dozen times. You've got to sanitize everything. Nobody around you is safe. You could all die. The death toll is growing every day, everywhere around you. Okay? Now that's exactly what is going on. What this man is doing to these students. That's exactly what has happened in our land.
Your hands against your body. Try to build up that body warmth as best you can. Try to build up the body warmth as best you can. 45, 40, 35, 30. Grab the person next to you. Hold on to that person next to you as tight as you can. Try to build up body warmth with that person as best you can. Try to build up that warmth as best you can with that person next to you. Throw your legs up around that person next to you. Throw your legs up around that person. Try to build up the body warmth as best you possibly can. 25, 20. It's getting colder.
Okay, obviously this young lady right here is not under the power of Hypnosis. Now, I'm not as sure why. There's a couple reasons why she's not under the power. She could have a very strong faith. She could have just decided, I'm not doing this or whatever, but she's not under this power. But obviously the rest of these ones actually are. Look at them.
15, 10, getting colder, and colder, colder, and colder. Okay, back up to 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. Ooh, you know, I was going about 70 to 76.
Okay, he just asked her to leave. Did you notice that? Because she can bring the other ones out of it. Did you notice that? This is his space up here. This is where the demons are active, up here. And she was a threat to the god of Hypnosis.
77, 78, 79, 80. It's getting hotter and hotter, hotter and hotter. Fan yourself and the person next to you. 85, 90, getting hotter and hotter, hotter. 95, 100, get hotter and hotter. 105, 110, get hotter and hotter. 115, 120, get hotter and hotter. 130, 140, get hotter and hotter. 150, 160, get hotter. And sleep, sleep, sleep.
Okay, now notice how he started yelling out the numbers, what they're experiencing. So what about the death toll right now? They're yelling out numbers, and everybody's reacting as if it's real.
Sleep, sleep.
Okay, another one gets out of the power circle up here because he was questionable. He was under a little bit and then he was out of it. But you can see they're not play acting. Okay? And the one young lady took off her sweatshirt, and if he'd have continued, she might have taken some more clothing off. All right? And that's the danger of this. And by the way, let me issue a warning. Do not go to any of these sessions under any reason or purpose. Do not. I'm only using this for teaching purposes to show you it's real, and this is exactly what happens to any of us who will sit in front of the television and absorb it. And that's what people are doing. They just sit for hours and hours and hours and listen to all the nonsense and all the false witness of death.
Deeper and deeper, all the way down.
Okay, he just brought a young lady up who was in the audience, who's cooperating with everything, and she's just like the rest of them. Okay, so he got rid of two, and now he brings one up. He's certain that this young lady is completely under the power of hypnosis. He's certain of it, or he wouldn't have brought her up.
Yeah, that's good. Look here. Sleep. Calm, comfortable, relaxed, stand at ease. Deeper, deeper, in a moment, I'm going to go through it.
That young man was faking everything. I was pretty certain of it from the start. He never really cooperated, but he wanted to not, draw attention to himself, and he didn't want to ruin the guy's program, so he just sort of sat there and really kind of went along with things a little bit, but you could see he never really moved hardly an inch. So from the start, he was not receptive. I kind of thought that immediately.
And the woman who's the body is separate chair is going to keep your eyelids shut. This time, though, on the inside of your eyelids is actually going to be a giant movie screen. And whatever movie I describe, you guys should begin to watch and react.
How interesting that he refers to a giant movie screen. So he's going to be like the newscaster. That all newscasters are warlocks or witches. I'll say it again. All newscasters are warlocks or witches, working a spell on you, inviting Hypnosis to come.
You have to watch every part of every movie. There is no opening in your eyes. That's right, when there's no warning on separate chairs, keep your eyelids shut. We're watching the movies. In 3, 2, 1, sit it right. Eyelids are shut. All the way up in your chair. Sit it all the way in your chairs. Eyelids are shut. But look, guys, on the inside of your eyelids, appearing right there in the middle of the inside of your eyelids is a giant movie screen. And slowly appearing on this giant movie screen, could it be, yes it is, the funniest movie you've ever seen in your entire lives. This movie is getting funnier and funnier, funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier. It's the funniest scene, the funniest movie you've ever seen in your entire lives. It's getting funnier and funnier, 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 getting funnier and funnier. Just became 10 times funnier. It just became 100 times funnier, funnier and funnier, 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 funnier. It's getting funnier and funnier, funnier and funnier, funnier and funnier, funnier and funnier. Wait a second. The movie just changed. It just changed. The movie just changed. You're outside. You're walking down the street. None of you worried about that.
Okay, now notice how the hypnotist is generating emotion. This is genuine emotion. These students aren't just saying, oh, I'm going to cooperate to put on a show. They are definitely under the power of hypnosis. Look at this. Look at the expression. Okay? So they went from laughter to now a different emotion. So do you not think when you watch television, when you watch the news, that it's not the same? Well, it is the same. But no one's ever told you. No one ever told me. No one ever told me. And I'm not sure I would have believed them had they told me. Trust me, believe me. This is what happens to all of us when we cooperate with the hoax lie system.
Now stay in your chairs while watching the movie. Stay in your chair. You can't leave your chair while watching the movie. Again, it's just a movie. You're just walking down the street. It's a nice evening out in a good, safe neighborhood. Nothing to worry about though. It's just dusk, so the street lamps haven't come on just yet. But you're taking this nice, leisurely stroll down the street. You look at the distance behind you. You notice a silhouette, a figure of a man walking towards you. Again, maybe it's just a down for a nice evening stroll. You walk a little bit further down the street, and you look at the distance behind you. You realize the man's gotten closer, almost like he's speeding up. Again, maybe he's just faster than you. You walk a little bit further down the street, and you look behind you one last time. That's when you realize the man's gotten too close. He's definitely speeding up. He's now running towards you, and that's when you notice his right hand's actually an axe. This man's getting closer, and closer, and closer. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. The movie's changing, it's changing, it's changing. The movie's changing. Sit in your chairs, watch the movies. Sit in your chairs. The movie's changing into a romance movie.
Okay, now the hypnotist knows his power. All right? And he could have let it go on, and he could have allowed these students to go even further in this experience with fear. Now, the release of fear right now is so great that it's just unbelievable. And it's all tied into hypnosis, the false god of sleep. Because most of the population is under the power of hypnosis. And all these suggestions keep entering their mind. Oh, the death toll's increasing. When they have no evidence of death anywhere except what they are told by a hypnotist or a sorcerer who uses hypnosis.
There's a couple. They walk in the park together. They're holding hands with one another. Oh, I think they're reciting poetry to one another. How sweet, how special. The guy's dropping down to one knee. He just proposed. True love does exist. It really does exist. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. But wait, the movie's changing, it's changing, it's changing. Into a cartoon. Sitting down watching the cartoon. Oh, it's Mickey and Minnie Mouse hanging out in the clubhouse. You gotta love Mickey and Minnie doing their mouse thing. Oh, love it up in the clubhouse. Wait a second. What is going on in the clubhouse right now? What are Mickey and Minnie doing in the clubhouse right now? Mickey and Minnie are all over each other. Mickey and Minnie are making out right in front of you. They're like animals. They're like cartoon animals. Mickey just slipped Minnie Mouse tongue. Oh, you can't do this on the Disney Channel. Oh, that Walt Disney is a freak. Oh, no. The movie's changing, it's changing. Into your parents, it's mom and dad making out right in front of you. Mom definitely just slipped dad the tongue. No, mommy, no. Don't nibble on dad's ear. Oh, always maintain a balance. You'll never fall in your chairs. From this point on, you'll always maintain a balance. You'll never fall in your chairs. Calm, comfortable, relaxed, and at ease. Doing a wonderful, wonderful job. In a moment, I'm going to count 3 down to 1. When I reach that number 1, you got to wait for this deep set of relaxation. When you're awake, you're going to realize I've changed. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I do this, there's something you need to know. There is something you need to know, and that is for the rest of the morning. For the rest of the morning. Anytime you hear this song for the rest of the morning,
okay, now notice how music is going to play into all this too. And so often in movies there's a musical background or a musical score. And so music enters into it. So many things enter into it that it becomes a very intricate system. And it's a hoax-lie system with many aspects.
that's right, for the rest of the morning. Anytime you hear that Miley Cyrus song, it does not matter where you are, what you're doing, or what's going on around you. Anytime you hear that Miley Cyrus song, you're going to twerk as hard as you possibly can.
Thank God.
Whenever the music stops, you got absolutely no idea what you were doing or why you were doing it. If you agree with that, lightly nod your head yes for me. Perfect. Again, for the rest of the morning, no matter what you hear or what's going on, anytime you hear that Miley Cyrus song, you're going to twerk or shake your butt as hard as you possibly can. Whenever the music stops, you have no idea what you were doing or why you were doing it. Doing a great job all the way down. In a moment, I'm going to count 3 down to 1.
Okay, that nodding of the head, I'd like to compare it to what I've called the Wii game. If you're not familiar with that, you can look up my video there, but don't play the Wii game. Don't agree to anything of what they are telling you. All right? Because that's the hypnotist wanting your consent. Don't get involved when they say, we are saving lives. Don't get involved when they say, we can all make a difference. Don't get involved when they say, we are going to win this. Stay out of it. You see, they nodded their head. I agree to your hypnotic suggestion.
Whenever it's in the morning, you're going to wake. When you awake, your eyes will be open, you're going to be energetic, you're going to be talkative. I'm going to show you something kind of cool. And 3, 2, 1, say it bright. Eyes are opening. Eyes are opening. Doing a great job. Eyes are all the way open. Actually, Miss, I'm going to get you to jump up in that chair for me right there, if you don't mind. Perfect. I'm going to scoot this chair up. I want you. Right there, just grab the chair. Miss, jump in that chair for next step, gentlemen. Okay, cool. Alright, and you know what? Actually, you sit in the blue. Come on down here for me. I've got an empty chair for you right there. I want you to sit. Yep, you right here in the blue. Yeah, perfect. Okay? Go ahead and sit right there for me if you don't mind. You can. Okay. That's one way to do it. Yeah, no, actually, this one right here in the middle. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, that one. Try that one out. Listen, guys, I gotta show you something kind of cool. You guys want to see something cool? You guys know what this thing is? Get it? This is a gun. Now, I want to tell you about this gun. This is not a real gun. This gun cannot hurt you, harm you, cause you pain, damage in any way whatsoever. This thing right here is more like a water gun. In fact, it's identical to a Nerf gun. That's right. It's what we call a sleep Nerf gun. That means if I shoot you with it, you go to sleep. Unlike a real Nerf gun that shoots those little foam yellow balls, it shoots little foam yellow balls of sleep. Again, it doesn't hurt. It feels amazing. I'm going to shoot the floor so you can see what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Again, it doesn't hurt. It feels awesome. It really does.
Okay, he's trying to bring them even closer to these demonic forces, because sometimes the demonic forces will give some buzz or some good feeling or some experience that the individual really likes. So it's like a trade-off. I'll let you do whatever you want, but I crave that good feeling that you're giving me. What I want to do is stop here and I'll try to continue through this. I think I would like to do a little more on this and then jump into other aspects of the mass media and mass hypnosis. Thank you for watching. Look forward to part 3.